Hey pups, RP here, and since August is back to school month, technically, I figured I'd do 3 Art Speaks episodes about my experiences of all schools, with the exception of college because I haven't gone to college yet, so that's probably a story for the near distant future. But for this first episode, it's just a bunch of my characters in a classic kindergarten-like classroom that goes with today's theme. This is mostly about some of the teachers and students, and maybe 1 or 2 regarding me, but let's get right into it. Now, until I was about 12 maybe, I tried mega hard not to be a troublemaker. But for some awkward reason, trouble always had a way of finding me. One time, I sat down on the school playground, and let me tell you, I never did that again. This next one is more embarrassing. I was leaving one of the stalls in the girls' bathroom, and one girl said, "Nice pink panties." I looked down and realized I forgot to put my pants back on. Yep, that never happened again. This last one is a bit of a bittersweet one. My class and I were about to go on a field trip to the Ringling Brothers Circus. R.I.P. Greatest Show on Earth. R.I.P. And on the exact same day, I felt sick and puked on the bus and wasn't able to go. And as you would imagine and expect, that made me very upset that I didn't get to go. My other grandma, my mom's mom when she was alive at the time, made sure I wouldn't miss out on the amazing childhood experience, and it was awesome. Now for the teachers and students. We'll start off with the students. For the students, I'll give them different names, and if they come across this video, just putting that out there. And hope you guys are doing great in life, so thumbs up to you. There's a boy I had a schoolgirl crush on. We'll call him Brad. Of course, he went through the, quote, girls have cooties, unquote, phase. And I had a sophomore math class with him. And, well, that kindergarten ship has long since sank and sailed. Basically, in other words, I was over him after I matured and moved on. This next student we'll call Jessie, who I thought of as a friend at the time, and looking back on it now, she was kind of bossy and maybe controlling. I'm not entirely sure, but there was one thing I remember that she did that made our teachers extremely and possibly concerned. It must have been around the end of winter, beginning of spring, and Jessie was maybe having a bad day and had to do work at a singular isolated desk, or was in timeout for something. I can't really remember. But I remember she was at her desk, and out of the blue, she threw one of the worst tantrums ever. She was screaming and crying, and some of us were either trying to read our library books, doing our work, or just having quiet time, or having a snack or something. And practically the entire class, myself included, covered our ears to block out her screaming and crying. Now, I can imagine you can probably guess what happens next. Did she A, stop her little tantrum, B, continue on with the tantrum, or C? You know what, it probably doesn't matter, I'll just tell you guys anyways. As you probably would expect, she continued her tantrum, and when she screamed in the teacher's face that she wanted her mom, it basically escalated to there. And it got so bad that another teacher had to take us outside afterwards. And I think it was about a few weeks after that, or maybe a couple days after, she had to move because, her words, not mine, crooks kept breaking into her home. And wherever Jessie lives now, let's hope she's grown past all that since kindergarten. This last student was someone who I thought of as a close friend since 4th grade. We'll call her Bella. Bella and I would have the occasional fight here and there that would always be at the cost of our friendship. Thankfully, we apologized to each other, And the next day, everything would be okay after that. Sixth grade was when one girl, we'll call her Miss Queen, decided to make me the personal punching bag of hers and to make Bella her little henchman. And if we didn't do her bidding, we'd pay the price, one way or another. The last thing Miss Queen did was horrible. She pulled a prank on another classmate with Bella on the last day of school. After that, we never saw Miss Queen again, and Bella moved during the first year of junior high. Wherever Bella is, and whatever she's doing now, I hope her life is doing great. Now for the teachers. About 2 or 3 that were nice and awesome to me that I remember were Mrs. B, the school music teacher Mr. Moore, and a guest art teacher we'll call Mr. Cool. Mr. Moore was introduced when I was repeating the 2nd grade. Long story short, my mom wasn't the most responsible person, or parent for that matter, so that explains why I had to repeat the 2nd grade. Yeah. Thanks, Mom. Really wanted that. He was one of those teachers who embraced silliness and was a huge music fanatic. He was also the teacher that got me into acting, doing musical covers, and of course, embracing my silliness and making people laugh. Mrs. B was my 3rd grade teacher, and she was an amazing one at that as well. On the first week of school, she read one of my favorite kids' books, Chrysanthemum, and whenever a student was either mean to me, she'd take care of it in a gentle way. And when another classmate and I got a reward to go out to eat, she let us choose the place, and she was amazingly cool. She was awesome. I liked her. And now, for the final teacher, Mr. Cool. Mr. Cool was a guest art teacher that came to our class every week and was the man who got me into art. One week he was teaching us about traditional Asian art, and it was uber awesome. Meaning he was teaching us how to paint like in ancient Chinese times and everything. Even though 4th grade was an absolute hell for me, my friend Bella and Mr. Cool always made it better. If you have an elementary school experience story you want to share, please share it in the comments, and I'll see you later, pups! This is our peer reminding you to stay awesome, stay strong, and stay beautiful.